You're watching TV News at 7. I am Nifemi Oguntoye. We'll begin with judicial matters as the newly sworn-in president of the Nigerian Bar Association, Oyinkan Badejo-Okusanya, says her administration would defend judicial independence but will not be silent on delay, conflicting decisions, corruption, or conduct that diminishes public confidence. She also promised to consolidate what works, repair what doesn't, and build what the future demands for the bar. Oyinkan Badejo-Okusanya was sworn in as the 33rd president of the NBA on Friday in Port Harcourt, taking over the association's leadership from Afamusigwe. She encouraged members to hold her administration accountable, pledging to ensure young lawyers across Nigeria can access quality learning and growth, as well as make an impact.
On her merit, she just happened.
My greatest cheerleader.
But they elected a woman who has a competence, who has what it takes to lead, and who is prepared for the job, and who comes to the job fully equipped to take it to the zenith. And she calls the shots.
I want to implore all well-meaning members of the bar, including my co-contestants, to join me and lend their voices to condemning the increasingly distasteful practice of campaign abuse. This unwholesome practice has no place in a noble profession like ours, and there will be scant tolerance for it. We will deal swiftly, decisively with anyone found making abusive and insulting posts against colleagues, senior or junior. Such lawyers will be subjected to public proceedings for bringing us all into disrepute.
Senior advocate of Nigeria, Adamson Adeboro, and a lawyer, Oyinkan Daniels, join me for more on this development. Gentlemen, thank you for joining us on the news at 7. Quick one, what should be the new president's immediate priorities in our first 100 years? Let's begin with Hassan.
Yeah, it's my pleasure to discuss this issue tonight. The MBA has transited from one generation to another generation, and much is expected. As we know, MBA is the conscience of the society, and to this extent, much is expected of whoever occupied the position of the president of MBA. Mr. Afamusigwe, SCN, has done well. He has laid his own foundation. So it's left for the incumbent president to improve further on what the predecessor has laid down. Yes, among the lawyers, a lot of issues, particularly concerning the election that brought her to power. I expect the new president, first of all, to think of reform, in electoral reform in NBA. That election nearly messed us up. But thank God, thankfully, we are where we are today.
Talking about the election, let me just bring in Mr. Ona Daniel. We've heard the new president promising electoral reform within the NBA. What specifically must change in the association's election process?
About the good evening once again. So about the electoral process of the NBA, to an extent, you must give it to NBA, because what the country, the government as a whole, have not been able to achieve, NBA, they've gone a step further when we talk about the electronic voting. So we don't have to go to any platform. We don't have to go to any branches to cast our vote. We can sit in the comfort of our zone and cast our vote. However, it doesn't mean that so far the election we had was good enough, because if among lawyers, if you have an election and some people were not comfortable, if you remember, we had a number of litigations before we finally settled to go out, before the court finally said, you have to go ahead. So meaning that even we as lawyers, we have to now subject our own electoral reforms or our own electoral situation to the process of the court, for court to determine whether our election we hold, whether we are doing it right, whether we are doing it wrong. So if we can put our house in order, and if that cannot be fixed among ourselves, then what justification do we have to then help the nation as a whole to put them on the right track? If the people, the nation is looking up to as to people that should know better on the rule of law and making sure things are done orderly and rightfully. So there are a lot of lacunas in our electoral reforms that we need to look into.
Indeed.
And I will try not to expose some of the things that are not right with us as lawyers, because I belong to that institution. There are little that I can say on that part.
Absolutely.
But among ourselves, we can talk to ourselves to say,
yes,
we need to do this, we need to correct that.
All eyes on the NBA, and I agree with you that the association needs to be a shining example in electoral matters. The new president has warned about conflicting court decisions and delays, and it's also brought about just how serious the crisis of confidence is in Nigeria's judiciary today, and what the bar realistically can do differently. But gentlemen, I want to get your thoughts on something that has gone viral following your association's conference. The invitation of very dark man sparked controversy. Did the NBA get it right by giving him that platform? Let me begin with Mr. Adiboro.
Well, this is a very vast issue in today. That's what is trending now. Well, if you look at the topic of the conference, beyond limit, is the essence is to share experience people who have broken barriers. For instance, I give you an example of George Weah, former president, former footballer, and president of Liberia. Yes, people have criticized him to say that, look, this man did not do well in Liberia. But the issue is this: you give it to him. This man, notwithstanding the difficulty that he had to face, despite the poverty level upon which he rose to the position of prominence, he broke barriers. Against all odds, he became the president of Liberia. Now, what he was invited to do was to just come share your experience. How did you get there? How do you break those barriers? And that is exactly what he did. Now, for very dark man, what they call him for, though best known and the intention of those who invited him anyway. But to me, what I can ferret out is that this man has a peculiar knowledge of the security situation in Nigeria. This was the same man who went to Jos to report what nobody had the courage to report. So come and share your experience with us. He doesn't need to be a liar before he does that. All we need from him is experience. Share your experience. How did you do it? And this means others will learn from what he shares. And even a responsible government, would tap from his experience to see how we can improve on our system. So totally, you cannot condemn it. I remember the last time it was Portable they brought. Now, they've forgotten that lawyers, though we are cerebral, we are equally convivial.
Okay.
So there's time to wind, there's time to dine, there's the time to be serious.
Mr. Oladanel, do you agree with the senior advocate?
Well, without taking anything out of that, absolutely. You see, for VDM to be called, there must be a reason why the committee or the planning committee look into that. See, a lot of us, the people are not close to us. The average man there, they are not. They have no. We don't have relationship with them. We don't even know what they go through. This man, the Vivian we are talking about, has earned the trust of the people. These are the someone. This is someone that people goes to. In fact, some people paying to handle their cases, to speak about their matters, and he speak for a lot of people. Not only that, it does not even stop there. It goes ahead to the extent of building schools, giving the poor people things and what we are supposed to be doing. So what they have called, Vivian was not called to lecture us on legal matters. He was not called to give us professional advice in that regard. He was called to share his experience as the people, one of the people which we need in our profession because that will also help us, will guide us to even know the nitty-gritty of the people's suffering, what people are going through, to even know how we can even come to help in our own legislative part of the system, to know how to even advise the government that this is the pain of the people. This is a representative of the people. We must know that.
Well, aside from
our lawyers, we are doing our thing, and we are not even close to these people. The government, even the local government, is not as close as the way this man is close to the people. Okay. And who are we talking about here? He's the representative of the people, not somebody in National Assembly that is just collecting money and looking for how to buy the new latest car or the
I get your point, Mr. Oladaniel. I need a gavel so that I can make you stop. except
with BDM coming for that conference, I do not share any thought with anyone. Everybody have their reason to share their thought of saying, why will he come? I do not share that school of thought.
I get your point, except for his attack on the nobility of your profession, the exception raised by the military personnel at that conference, and now concerns from the police about some of the statements he made. With so many of his colleagues, many of your colleagues take pictures with the man. Apparently, it's loved by many lawyers within the NBA. That's our time, gentlemen. SN Adeboro, Mr. Oladaniel, thank you so much for sharing your thoughts on the news this hour.
Thank you very much. Thank you.